because what we're calling schizophrenia is actually people opening up their psychic centres. Okay, and then if you go the other end of the scale where they talk about indigo children, now I'm not saying there aren't children out there with ADD or whatever other labels they're putting on it, but most of these children are very psychic and they haven't come here to sit in a classroom and learn things that they know are not going to serve them or the planet.
Can you see me?
Yes.
Can I have a look?
Taking of psychiatric drugs in a really young age is totally detrimental to our society.
Humanity is going through a stage of natural evolution.
Because they don't know how to express what they're feeling. They want the answers of their parents, but their parents, if they're not spiritual, they can't deal with it. So they take them along to the local GP, and the local GP says the diagnosis is either ADD or ADH or whatever these titles are. And I feel really upset that this is the way the world's going, because I feel that our children are being given medication that is so wrong for their systems, because I believe that they can heal themselves or they can get better advice from spiritual healers. They're just not they're feeling very unsettled because the curriculum in the schools doesn't suit their nature at all. They're very bored. The curriculum needs to be changed, I feel, so desperately. They need to be more creative, they need to be in touch with nature more, and they need to be listened to, and they need to be definitely more creative, and the schools would, I think the schools could accommodate this if they looked into it further. Well, when I was quite young, I used to have out-of-body experiences. Leave my body quite often. I didn't know what was happening, so I kept it to myself. Until later on, when I became an adult, that I was able to share this with my brothers and sisters. So they also confided in me that they also had similar experiences themselves. And then my mother I talked to my mum about it, or she'd heard on the grapevine that I was doing a bit of psychic work, and she was really frightened, because she said I was a black witch into black magic, and it was really, really bad, and I felt that some distance was put between us, and I was very cut that I wasn't validated, number one, by my mother, and it's the most important person that I think in the world at first that you'd like to feel validated by is your mother.
A 5-year-old at the moment, who's nearly 6, he's telling everyone what planet he comes from and
a real planet?
Pardon?
A real planet?
A real planet? Actually, which is the really cold planet?
Venus?
Pluto. Yeah, and he said my planet was once alive. He said, but now Pluto or whatever it is. He said, but it's very cold now because it just ran out. He said the babies come we never leave. So
and it kind of probably might extend some of these, but some of these indigos that I didn't speak about a lot are what we call interdimensional, and they actually come from planets quite often. And so when they say things like this, it might seem very different to us and very different to the average person, but there's a lot of truth in it. And they can be
I feel also that children are very aware today. They are very different from all of us when they were very different 20 years ago. We're all very different. We felt like we all had to listen to our parents, and we did, for advice and everything. And I feel children today are teaching their parents. They're teaching their parents to be more aware, more accepting, more loving, more forgiving, instead of they're turning it around from the way our parents thought. I know when I was growing up that my parents were quite negative in their beliefs, and I found that if I chose to look at the other side of their beliefs, that I found that set me on my spiritual path. So I feel that children today are very spiritual, and they're not being listened to, they're not being understood, they're very unsettled. There's so many children with ADD. I don't personally agree with the title that the children are being given. I just feel that their children are lost.
At this time, the whales and dolphins are putting out telepathically anyone who's willing to listen and communicate with them. And in particular, these indigo psychic children are very open to receive these messages, as you could be also.
I also feel that my children are quite psychic. Well, I know this to be true. My daughter is very clairvoyant, and my son, and I know that they feel they're different. They're already having talked to me about problems they're having at school or with people, and how they seem to attract a lot of people or friends at school with problems.